Hi, this is Chris Peters for the Hampton History Museum. So, why did the English come to Virginia? It's a question that's asked in schoolrooms all over the country today, and the number one reason that's always talked about is going to be gold. If you watch a movie, crack open a textbook, or pick up almost any other piece of material related to Jamestown or the early colonization of North America, gold and silver are going to be one of the key things that's talked about. And that's true. The English were hoping to find gold, silver, copper, and gems and other natural resources that they could exploit and send back to England. But they were interested in something else as well, something that was actually worth more than the gold and silver. They came to the Chesapeake Bay on purpose. They were looking for water routes through the interior of the continent. And this may sound kind of crazy today. You can't go down to the James River, get in a boat, and go through Virginia to get to California. But 400 years ago, they didn't know that. And so everybody is searching for a way across the continent so that they can reach the Pacific Ocean. The reason they want to get there is to open up a new trade route with China and India. At the time, the route around Africa was controlled by Portugal. The route around South America was controlled by Spain, and the route through the Middle East was controlled by the Ottoman Empire. So if you lived in Europe and you wanted luxury consumer goods from Asia, you had to pay one of these other countries to get them. The English want to break in on that game as well. They hope to find a northwest passage around North America or through it, and the Chesapeake Bay might hold the answer to this. So they had no idea that this couldn't be done. They expected to take rivers from the Chesapeake Bay to the interior, climb the mountains that they assumed were there, go over the mountains, get in another river, and go to the Pacific Ocean. Once they accomplished that, they would start bringing back trade goods like silk. One of the most valuable materials in all of history, silk is one of the finest fabrics that you can make clothing from. It's relatively durable, it's got a wonderful luster to it, and it takes dyes pretty readily. So, this is very valuable. They also want to bring back spices. We take these things for granted today. You can go to the grocery store and get black pepper for a couple of dollars. At the time, black pepper was worth more by volume than gold. So this is the most valuable trade item that they could possibly get. And opening up a new trade route with Asia will do it. The other item that they'd like to get is actually porcelain, china, plates and bowls. This is another item that we take for granted today. Our ceramics are very durable, and we've got lots of plastic. They didn't have that. Most of the stoneware that was produced in Europe was moderately durable, but if you dropped a plate, it was going to break, and if you hit it too hard, it was going to break fairly easily. China, on the other hand, is a lot harder, so it's harder to break. And so porcelain like this, coming all the way from China, is going to demand a high price. It's also very decorative compared to the ceramics that are being produced in Europe. The blue patterns that were painted on this china were far nicer than what you could get from European manufacturers. So together, silk, spices, and porcelain are worth far more than the gold and silver that gets talked about so much. But because they never found that route through to the Pacific Ocean, and today it sounds rather silly, it's something that we don't talk about a whole lot. Now, instead of trading with Asia, the English are going to end up trading with the Powhatan Indians, and that is something else that was part of their initial plan. They wanted to open up a trade route with China. They wanted to find natural resources like gold and silver, and then they also wanted to enter into trade agreements with the Powhatan Indians, who they knew were here, and they wanted to anglicize them. They wanted to entice them into becoming English, and they were going to do that through trade. They wanted to bring in English manufactured goods like tools, like the ones you see in the case behind me, and use those as trade items with the Powhatan Indians to get them to join the English. Now, those trade relationships never worked out very well, and within just a couple of years, the English and the Powhatan Indians ended up at war. What we call the First Anglo-Powhatan War started in 1609, and by the end of the war, the English had conquered most of Tidewater, Virginia. So the English had come here to explore, searching for a path to Asia, opening up new trade routes, search for natural resources, and trade with the Powhatan Indians. Instead, they don't find that path to the Pacific Ocean. There is no gold or silver, and their trade negotiations with the natives break down pretty quickly. They're going to have to find other ways of making money in Virginia, and the key to that are the items you see above the tools in this case. These are tobacco pipes, and very quickly after the English arrived here, tobacco would become the foundation for Virginia's colonial economy. But that's a subject for another video. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day.